I sat down with Kirk and Donna Gronvold, the husband and wife team behind Blue Water Design Build. They're a Seattle based design build firm specializing in home renovations and remodels. And they've been doing this together since 2007. Kirk has been in the renovation business most of his life, and his family has been in the home building business for over 100 years in the Seattle area. Welcome to the Biz and Life Done Well podcast, where we explore what it means and what it takes to do business and life well. I'm your host, Peter Wilson. If you're like me, you're intrigued by stories of common people who have achieved uncommon success in business and life. Join me as I interview fascinating people about how they got started, their successes and failures, their habits and routines, and what inspires them. Blue Water Design Build, what does the company do?
We're a design build construction company where we turn around and take people's ideas and dreams of maybe what they want their basement or main floor or addition, what they would like it to live compared to what it currently lives like. And most of the time, what we do is we concentrate on the interior of the home and really more specialize as to how a person lives rather than an architect, which more concentrates on the exterior of the building. We really turn around and concentrate on flow and function.
Got it. And it's residential.
Yes, we primarily do residential. We do a lot of renovations and remodeling. We do also build new construction, and we are a general contractor. So we have built a lot of different things over my years. Right now, we concentrate on whole house remodels of homes that are, say, built back in the 50s or the 60s, or currently we have several projects where the homes were built in the 1920s. We primarily concentrate on single family homes, do a lot of older homes in the Ballard of Seattle area have basements that are unfinished and it's unutilized square footage. And a lot of times we can easily, for a family, double the square footage of the size of their home. Finished square footage is very valuable. Unfinished is not.
Where is your company located?
Crown Hill in the community of Ballard, which of course is located within the city limits of Seattle.
Got it. A town with a lot of Scandinavian heritage. My family is from there. Both my parents went to Ballard High School. Just a little side note there.
There you go. I am a third generation builder. My grandfather started in Ballard in 1923, building single family homes. My father branched off in about two because he started with his dad, but he didn't really like building single family homes. So he primarily then from there on built apartments in the Ballard area, built a lot of duplexes, triplexes, up to 32 units. I have done basically all of that, but we really concentrate on single family homes right now.
Got it.
So really, there's been a Gronvold building in Ballard for over 100 years then.
Yes, that is true.
Wow, that is quite a legacy. That's amazing. That is amazing. So you've the name of the company, Blue Water Design Build. What's the origin of Blue Water? Why Blue Water? I know Ballard is near the water, but I'm just curious.
That's a great one. When Donna and I turned around and back in about 2007, 2008, we kind of branched off from a family company and then started Blue Water. And we turned around and really looked at it as I love to fish the Washington coast. I fish out of Westport all summer long. And the most fun fishing is tuna fishing, which is out about 35, 40 miles or more. And the water is actually blue as blue can be. So that's where we got Blue Water.
That's great. And then design build. So you see a lot of remodeling companies out there. They just say we're XYZ remodeling, right? And you've clearly put design build in the name. What was the kind of the thought process behind that?
I think the catapult behind that was Kirk was finding that and we were having this issue. Clients would be having an architect draw up all these plans, and then they bring it to us to build it. And then they've realized their architect built them something they could never afford to build. And so that's what really drove the path for us to create design build. So it's all keeping the client's budget in mind with what they want versus what they can afford.
I like
And
that.
we're still finding that in some recent visits, client visits we've had, it's still, a standard occurrence where somebody will feel like they need to have an architect draw it up first. And we'll sit down. We did with a nice couple a few weeks ago. And the architect had drawn something that wasn't really the best use of space. It didn't really function the way that they thought it would. We went round and round with showing them other opportunities that they would have of if we move this here. She loves to garden and, have the kitchen sink overlooking the backyard instead of looking at the neighbor's house up the side of the home. And just to be able to point out to them how we can design their home to function the way that they want it to. And we really spend a lot of time with each couple learning more about them and about like how many people cook in your kitchen at one time. How much do you have going on in your kitchen or your living room? Sometimes laundries are the biggest concern of the home. Do they need a double washer dryer? They have a large family where they never thought if I have 2 washers and 2 dryers, I can really get my laundry done. We really do a deep dive on our clients before we even start the design process with them.
As Donna said, it puts the design, the budget, the contractor, and the owner all in ultimately a triangle, right? So you end up that way, then no matter which decision is being made, design choice-wise, that the budget and or the construction means and methods are going to meet the budget. Like Donna says, the challenge ends up as most architects, they're concentrating on the outside of the house, not necessarily how the house flows and functions. And what we try to concentrate more on is how the house flows and functions and how a person lives. So the architects don't necessarily ask those types of questions. Like Donna says, how many people cook in the kitchen at the same time?
Right.
Because that turns around and really determines the size of your kitchen. But on the other hand, an architect will turn around and they love to spec out appliances and or amenities, features, that type of deal that are extremely expensive because they're really cool. But they don't turn around and constantly, every decision ask, does that meet budget? And then if it does not meet budget, to make certain that the client understands that now they're exceeding the budget because of that choice. Whereas when we're design and the build all in one, underneath one roof, ultimately, we're constantly asking that question. And then a lot of times it can be somebody really wants this nice tile that's $55 a square foot. We can help value engineer that to find you something that's similar, but more within your budget.
Or we can use, like we've done before, we use it as an accent. So they still get it, but we're not buying 85 square feet of it. So there's a way that we can work with design to try to make the budget and the aesthetic all fall in line together with what the client is looking for.
Got it. So if you were to look at the sort of percentage of work that you do for the various aspects, like just roughly speaking, what percent of your work do you think is like kitchen or kitchen plus other stuff versus basement? Like, how do you break it down in terms of?
I would say the majority of our work is full renovations.
Okay.
Yeah.
The challenge to a lot of basements is most older homes, the basement was not necessarily looked at full functioning space. So the stairs are very steep and narrow in order to get up or down the stairs. When a person is going to finish their basement, there's kind of the first thing is to how are we going to get the stairs to code to get down there and really functioning safe?
Inevitably, that's going to affect the main floor. If we're having to move the stairs, something's going to happen upstairs.
So
Yeah.
we had a project out in the shoreline area where it was a brick house, a really super nice couple. We just finished the project literally like last week. And that was the problem. They turned around in an unfinished basement. They turned around and had a great space down there. It was doubling the size of their house if they could finish all of that space. All the way through, we were able to get them a master bedroom downstairs with a door out onto a private patio, a master bath with it's a 6-foot shower stall. And then they put a wet bar down in there with a kegerator and all kinds of fun, fun stuff there. They were going to put in the TV area. But the challenge was when we actually laid it out, the stairs to get down there, we did several different configurations, but what it ended up is we had to eat into the upstairs area to be able to move the stairs back, which then affected, in their case, the kitchen, the bedroom closet, the dining room, to be able to make this all work. By finishing the lower floor, yes, we did have, in their particular case, some creep into the upper floor. Yes, they got a brand new kitchen at the same time.
Got it.
That's now they have legal stairs to be able to get down. They doubled the square footage of their house, and overall value was well in excess of what the cost of remodeling.
I can understand that. But then the flip side of that is they ended up with an amazing house, right? That they'll
absolutely
it functions a lot better for them. In fact, we were looking back at the before pictures, and it's just crazy the difference now that they used to have like all their spirits and wine and stuff kind of shoved in this one corner of the house, and now they have a full bar downstairs.
Nice.
And they have a full TV room. Their bedroom's quite large. So their house functions much better for them.
Now they're able to take one of their existing bedrooms and put it as a work from home office.
So now she doesn't have to work from the dining room.
Yes.
That would be a problem. Yeah. So you've got the design. I think I'm starting to understand kind of your design philosophy. It's really focused on how the space is being used, not how it's going to look in a magazine.
Right.
But
we want
obviously,
we want it to function.
Another example is another client device we just met yesterday, literally, and it was a Ballard home.
Okay.
And they turned around and had a partially finished basement. This was a 1950s remodel. And in this particular case, they just remodeled and kind of enclosed the fireplace downstairs. Put carpet down there, put a bunch of doors and that type of deal to isolate the area, to try to keep it warm and heated. And so we went there, and they had a bathroom. Well, the shower was a concrete floor with a floor drain, and it had an old galvanized pipe, and the toilet was similar condition. And so they turned around and said, we'd like a better bathroom, and we'd like a nicer laundry room, and we'd like this unfinished space to become finished space. And so what they were turning around, and they were looking at isolated areas rather than the entire area.
Okay.
And that's what we find a lot is people have done these little piecemeal remodels over the years, over the last 30 years, and they added this little room on and they added this little room on. But you're back to the function of the house.
Flow.
And the flow, yes, don't work anymore because nobody looked at the big picture. And as we were explaining this to this guy, he was totally blown away. And it's most people I never thought about that.
They were just thinking about just trying to fix these little areas, piecemealing it together. Let's look at the whole entire area and how do you want to use it? And they had the perfect setup because they already had egress to have a bedroom down there. So they could this was a 2-bedroom house, and 3 bedrooms is really best. 2 bedrooms is a little bit hard to sell. 3 bedrooms is much better. So we also did some education with them. They were a very young couple, so this most likely was not their first home. We try to educate our clients that although we want to make this home live for you right now, if this isn't your forever home, we need to keep resale in mind as well. If we add a bedroom down here, which can also act as your office, and you have a 3/4 bath, you have egress. So now you've just added 30% more for your just having a bedroom downstairs.
Wow.
And they never really thought about that.
So when it comes to the design, it sounds like you've got a great process in place and you've repeated it over and over again. I'm curious, like how many homes you think you've done in the past several years?
Oh, wow.
There's
A
a good-
lot. A lot of full home renovations.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I bet you it's probably the last 10 years, maybe 100, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Probably.
Wow.
Somewhere around in there. But
Kirk's been building for his entire life. That's all he's done. But our concentration on single family homes, 2007.
yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of that too, I always turn around and kind of say we're a small, big company. And the difference between our company and a lot of companies that probably have done a lot more houses, and I know absolutely they're larger than us, they do more houses, and our competition is that type of scenario. However, with us, the difference is we're turning around in there on day one when we're meeting and greeting you, and that we're there all the way through the project. So we actually hand you the keys at the end and do the final walkthrough. We're not only building your dream home for you, but we're also building the relationship. We also turn around and have a formal written warranty, which most contractors don't, right? We're there for you. I mean, the whole thing is referrals and or repeat business. We finished a project up a few months ago that was over in the Northgate area again, where we first off, right after COVID, came out and remodeled their basement. That was the whole basement remodel. We added a bathroom, 2 bedrooms, a wet bar, the laundry, did the whole thing. It was bigger for them. They then they have 2 kids now, and it wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
The next remodel for their project was the main floor and a second story addition. That's the whole thing is relationship down the road. We're here to make certain that your life is great after we're done.
That's a huge testament to the satisfaction if they have you back to do another project. Because of course you hear horror stories. You hear horror stories of remodeling that.
There's no matter what project it is and who the contractor is, there's always going to be bumps in the road. But
Surprises.
it's how you work through them.
Yep.
And you don't walk away from the problems, but you just got to work through it. And it's not always laughs and giggles all the time. Sometimes there's really hard conversations about issues with the house that weren't known before. And unfortunately, we're got to be the bearer of bad news. But we also want to go into that with this is how we're going to work through it. And this is how we're going to solve it. So it's always nice to go with a solution when you go with a problem.
So what do you feel is the hallmark or what sets you apart with respect to the actual execution side of things? We've spent a lot of time talking about the design side. So
our crew. We have one of our guys has worked for he's working on 25 years. So longevity, quality control, everybody knows me. It's all about quality control. Because at the end, we're not a do-it-yourself project, and it shouldn't look that way. We turn around and have weeded through subcontractors and got rid of a lot of people we don't use and would never use again. Most of our subcontractors have been with us for over 10 years. So it looks to the longevity of them, their painters or tile guys. We try to self-perform as much as possible with carpentry, demolition. With us, our foreman is on the spot from day one again till the end. You get his cell phone number and that type of deal. So if you have any questions or anything happens in the middle of the night, you have access to somebody that can do something.
yeah,
When I think it's that personalization, we also turn around and we really focus on communication. When we're into production, we're turning around and it's every Friday update. And I know we hear a lot of people, they say, well, all contractors say that, but that's the thing is we really try to deliver that because that turns around and really stops everybody from wondering what happened. Most companies and most complaints from contractors are, I gave him the money, he showed up one day, and where is he again? And that's where I turn around and say, we're a small, big company, right? So we turn around and yes, we have multiple jobs going yes, we have to shift crews all the way through. We're able to then shift back and then keep in our time frame for every project that we are currently running. So it's ebbs and flows, like kind of Donna said. Sometimes it's everything is great and dandy, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Is there a peak part of the year, or do you just work year round?
Year round.
Most of our projects, it really doesn't matter necessarily.
There's always a deadline of a baby or Christmas.
Yes, very true. Most of our projects, when we're into the whole house, and generally speaking, we're disrupting people so much so that's basically, in most cases, you have to move out. And so if your person moves out, then we are gangbusters. And some of our subcontractors, in the way that we function, we work Saturdays and Sundays because
Well, some of the subs do. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And the reason is our crew is working Monday through Friday. So then they subcontractors, as an example, a painter, right? He
Right.
can come in there on a Saturday
Yep.
and there's nobody there. Paint Saturday and Sunday. He's happy. We're happy. It's a matter of that flow.
Yeah. Sounds like you got it down to a science. How do you have any special tools or methodologies for keeping track of all this stuff? Seems like a lot of
Excel.
details.
Spreadsheets.
Yes. We count calendars. We turn around and use some apps. One app's a builder trend. It's a scheduling app all the way through. And
But we have an incredible project manager, and she can keep every ball juggling. She is a great juggler. She can keep every moving. She has wonderful communication with our foremans, with our clients, with Kirk and I. But she is definitely magic in our company.
That's great. Yeah. I'm just curious about a few projects, a few favorites. I'm sure you've got a couple favorites projects. I mean, they're all favorite, I'm sure, but with respect to ones that were memorable. So are there a couple projects that kind of stand out in your memory as like a favorite?
yeah, one of them was I think also it was the basement remodel where we came back and eventually did the main floor and the second story addition. And the basement they were a younger couple and they had Hudson was just like a toddler all the way through. And they lived on the main floor and we did this basement remodel. And so the basement we converted the garage into more of a family room with a wet bar. We took two different areas and created 2 bedrooms downstairs with a full bath because they turned around and when their parents came in, the in-laws came in, then they had a place to stay that they could come down. They had their own bath and a little privacy.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Proper laundry room.
Yep. A really nice laundry room because Amber knew that she was going to be doing a lot of clothes, I think. And so then they had another baby, became small again. And
the main floor didn't function at all. It did not work at all.
It was a lot of small rooms, lots of doors, right? Not really a very well flow. There was no flow.
Right.
And so what they really wanted, they wanted a main floor master now, and then they wanted 2 bedrooms upstairs for the 2 kids, right? So that they could put them upstairs because they didn't really want to put the 2 kids downstairs in the basement. And that's pretty common for most people. And when we did it, it did kind of creep all the way through because of logistics of it. So in order to get the upstairs, yes, we can turn around and do that, but then you're back to the stairs to get upstairs. You're back to the flow of various things and remodeling the entire main floor. It was really fun. The lower floor was really fun because we gave them a wet bar and then they enjoyed it for probably a year and a half or so. And then they were back knocking. And
about 3 years.
Yeah. So then it was really fun to be able to do. And so why was it a great one? Because they were so happy when they moved in at the end. We would get pictures of Emmy, their one daughter, she was a year and a half, 2 years or so, hanging off of the quartz countertop edge in her little chair there, eating cookies. And she was just happy as can be. They're in their new house. They sent us videos of the 2 kids up in each one of their bedrooms, jumping up and down and doing somersaults before they moved the beds in.
And Hudson made us a sign when they got back from vacation, and he made a really big sign on the window that said, "Thank you, Blue Water, for our house." And they've just been a really sweet family that we still keep in touch with. And then I think our other favorite project was over here on Sunset Hill. It was our client had grown up in the house, and that was her family home, and beautiful home right on the bluff, but the aesthetic wasn't her vibe. The house did not flow for the family. It kind of had a few funky remodels throughout the years that really didn't make sense.
And a really interesting portal in the master bathroom.
Yeah.
Big round portal out of a ship.
Yeah, it was but taking her design aesthetic, what she wanted, she was really easy to work with. She knew what she wanted and totally did the entire house, basement all the way up, a full redesign from the main floor, the second floor. It was a long one though. That one was about a year.
It was very complex because of wanting to try to open up older homes to a open floor plan. Turned around and was a lot of reframing and headers, and because we were taking out a lot of load bearing walls.
Yeah.
So it was very complex on the logistics of the project to be able to open these areas up as much as she wanted. And so that was not only between the ground floor and the main floor, but also between the main floor and the upper floor. It was 3 floors of home. And so it was really fun because design wise, it gave us a lot of opportunities that not everybody really does on their homes. This one had in the master shower, it was a lighted niche in the shower. So
wow.
LED lights. So your soaps are up there and it's like it lights up. And it was
So
like
you have body sprays, you have rain heads, you have handhelds, you have wall mount. I mean, there's a lot of water going on in this shower.
Yeah. Hopefully they have the water pressure to support it.
Yes.
Yeah, but they were a delightful family. They're a very young family. Once again, that was another one. The baby's coming. So, and then it was baby number 2. But a really nice family. And it's nice. That's the house that she's going to raise her kids in now. So and her grandma just lives 2 houses down. So it really meant a lot for her to be able to have this house for her family.
It was fun too because Ray, the husband, he liked to play golf. They had a detached garage that we remodeled the detached garage kind of into it was
Golf studio.
A golf studio with a garage door, roll-up garage door that opened up into the backyard. So now it's a big kind of backyard party area.
Yeah.
Full wet bar inside of there. And inside of it was a golf simulator on one end of the screen. It was 16-foot high ceilings so you could swim your golf club. It was really nice. The beautiful backyard, landscaped wise, all the way through. And interesting enough, it's another client. We didn't really think of that, but we're currently back there now. We're going to demolish the detached garage in the golf studio and build a dadu. It's basically an apartment above for her brother that stays here quite often for long periods of time.
So we'll still put the golf studio back in, but we'll be having the dadu above.
Sounds like I need to have you guys come over and build me a golf studio.
I'll send you some pictures.
I'd love to see
once
that.
we build it again.
Clearly, you have an amazing passion for what you do. What do you guys do in your free time? Do you have any free time?
Yeah, we have some here. I love the boat. And we love to fish. We have a boat here on the West Coast that we turn around and we go up into the San Juan Islands. For us in the 4th of July, I've probably been at Roach Harbor in the San Juan Islands for the 4th of July for, about 40 years or so.
Okay.
It's great because the family comes up, we go up and we do a lot of crab. We crab right before the 4th of July. I mean, kids are all coming up and that type of deal. So then we'll just grab in the Deception Pass area to go from there to the 4th of July. I spend a lot of my summer. I take our boat down to Westport and then go salmon fishing in Albacore, tuna fishing on the weekends during the summer.
Yeah.
Now, we like to travel a lot in various places. We like to go down to Florida like everybody else in the warm weather. I think warm weather is really nice for us up here in the Northwest, especially during about January.
There is. Yeah.
But you talk about the passion. Our passion is really, I mean, it is building and design work. And it's kind of funny because John and us watch HGTV shows and we both sit back and say, how did they do that so fast? And that costs way more than that. I think our passion, you're right. Our passion is this. I think the best thing for me is when, Donna can speak on her own, but when we take this old piece of crappy house and let it is just falling apart and disrepair and can turn around and breathe new life into that, right? So it's a house that has already been 50 years. Think of how many generations have gone through. And then if we can rebuild that for the next 50 years and how many generations will go through it again, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's like Gloria and Raj.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's pretty nice at the end that you see these people back in there and their lights are on and they're living their life.
How about you, Donna? Anything you want to add?
Oh, geez. Well, I like to read. We pretty much enjoy the same things. And it is really nice to give a family a new start on a new home that works for them. It's very rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And the thing that kind of goes unsaid here is the fact that you two are together at work and play. So you've managed to do that very well. I think it's amazing testament that you guys have done that. So
we kind of have our part. I have a lot of the dreaming and Kirk is my reality check. Yeah, you can't do that. It's a nice idea, but it's not in the budget.
We got to pay for it. How are we going to pay
a
for
lot.
this?
Yeah.
How are we going to pay
in
for
the budget?
this?
Like, well, no, but it would look really great.
If somebody is interested in meeting with you, you have bluewaterdesignbuild.com as your website. Is there like an initial consultation that you offer?
Usually what we do is we start with a quick 5 or 10 minute phone chat to gather details about where the project is located at. We mostly work in Seattle and North Seattle, Edmonds, Bothell, North Seattle area.
Sure.
But we'll start with an initial chat to gather information about what they're thinking of doing or what they need to have done. Then we'll set up an on-site consult with either, myself or Kirk and I, depending on what the scope of work is. Meeting with, both the clients and seeing the project itself. And then it's kind of a great way for them to interview us and us to interview them so that we can see if we would be, good to work with together, if we're going to connect well. And then from there, they usually think about the ideas that we've given them, what they really want to do. And then we'll move into, if they want to move forward, we'll move into putting together some budgeting numbers for them.
Got it. Great. So bluewaterdesignbuild.com. I know we're adding some galleries to the site here shortly as well. So folks can get a little taste of your work now, and very soon there will be even more on there. I want to thank you both for joining me today. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And I think you all really can provide some great services for people in the area. So thanks again.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Biz and Life Done Well with Peter Wilson. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and most of the other popular podcast platforms. Please tell your friends about us and leave us a review so even more people will find out about us. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.